So moved.
All right. All in favor? Probst,
Yes.
Pruitt,
Aye.
Perryman,
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Very good. Okay. Council reports. I've got a couple of things. I am just kind of FYI. I'm working with someone at high school to organize a litter sweep. I'm sure you guys, I have been getting complaints, and obviously we drive around town, we see what the roads look like. So it's going to be a modified litter sweep from what we've done in the past. We'll provide vests, bags, gloves. We will have deputies. We're looking to do it. Right now it's scheduled for the 27th of February. It'll be a great opportunity for students to get some service hours. I know there are a lot of students that are not getting hours right now. So that's pretty much it. If there are any questions, you can shoot me an email or Lisa an email, or at the end of during your council reports, you can ask. So it's pretty straightforward. Second thing, I got a phone call on Thursday afternoon, January 14th, from a sweet young lady, Haley Sanders. And she was calling with the news that her mother, Sharon Sanders, a longtime Weddington resident and founder of Kids First of the Carolinas, had passed away that morning. Needless to say, I was speechless. I was having a hard time comprehending what I was hearing. I had just chatted via text with her only a month or so prior. She had been diagnosed with liver cancer the week before Christmas, and they kept that news to a very few select close friends and immediate family. Sharon was an angel that was put here on earth to give hope to those that needed it. She dedicated her life to service, helping the underprivileged. Mayor Nancy Anderson described her as a professional volunteer. Sorry, y'all. I thought I'd get through this. In 2005, she took the task of fully refurbishing 2 houses on the Hunter Farm in an effort to provide housing for families displaced after Hurricane Katrina. After 18 months, one family was able to move out and be totally self-sufficient, all thanks to Sharon. She organized fundraisers for a local family whose grandson suffers from Hunter syndrome. Just last year, as the pandemic was shutting things down, she went to work. She organized a fundraising campaign with the owner of Papa's Pizza in Weddington to provide dinner to 200 Union County families. It was so successful, she did another one a few weeks later. All this while running her charity, Kids First, that provided Christmas to thousands of families in the Charlotte area over the last 30 years. She was the brainchild behind our food truck events and is the reason we have them now. I could go on and on about how much she loved this community and how much she gave. She was a one-of-a-kind treasure to us, and I thank her husband, Brent, and her children for sharing her with us. She was my biggest cheerleader. Gosh, y'all, I'm sorry, and I will miss her encouraging words. We will pray for the family as they learn how to navigate life without her.
Amen.
Ooh, sorry, y'all. I thought I would be able to get through that. That is all that I have, and I will open the floor up to Councilwoman Probst.
Thanks. Thanks, Liz. I do want to say something too, because Sharon was an integral part of helping make our Food Truck Fridays events even started. And she worked with us for several years to make the events become more and more successful. Every year she wanted to make it bigger and better. And everything about Sharon it had to be big. And so I just want to say, this community has lost a tremendous just a tremendous personality and a tremendous gift. And we're going to miss Sharon very much. She wasn't just a co-worker at Food Truck Friday. She was also a friend. And we will send our continued prayers for Brent and Haley and Hayden. And again, we know that there's a new hard worker in heaven with Sharon Sanders. That's all I have for my report.
Okay. Thanks, Janice. Pruitt.
I don't really have anything, but I do share the sentiments, and thank you for the kind words that you said about Sharon. She will definitely be missed in the area.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Mr. Perryman.
Well, I'm going to kind of save my comments for me about Sharon till the closing comments, but thank you for what you did say. And we all know what an asset, not only our town, but this region has lost with her passing. What I would like just to update everybody on is as we see on the agenda tonight, we have a resolution against the proposed Aviton apartment complex that's down at the corner of Newtown and Providence. I did listen in to the public involvement meeting that was held about 2.5 weeks ago. It was very interesting. It lasted a little over 2 hours, and there were a lot of residents that were on there expressing their concerns about everything from the traffic to the effect on schools to, you name it. And I do know that Bjorn from the county was on there because I did hear him, respond to a couple of specific questions. But if anybody is interested, I believe, the county was supposed to have that posted somewhere if anybody wants to go back and sort of review it. But we'll touch on it a little bit more when we get to new business and the resolution there. But this is definitely something that we need to be expressing our opposition to the county. Also in that regard, we had our January meeting of the Western Union Alliance, Municipal Alliance at Weddington a couple of weeks ago. It was very well attended. In fact, we had Commissioners Rape and Commissioners Helms there as well. And I think it is a sign of how the county is giving our group some credence in that we have had a county commissioner present at our last 4 meetings, at least one. So they are coming, they are engaging, they are listening to us, and that's very encouraging. The biggest takeaway, or one of the big takeaways I wanted to share with the group, is that both commissioners stated that there will be a meeting that they are calling for the Union County Ag Center on the 11th of March, in which they will go over not only some of the infrastructure questions, water sewer type questions that are up, but it will be sort of one final chance for everybody to give their input to the 2050 plan, the comprehensive plan. And it will be, they were emphasized, both of them emphasized the fact that it will be an advertised meeting, and that they encouraged as many council members from the different municipalities to be there. And each town will have an opportunity to express their concerns directly to the commissioners at some point in the meeting. And so this is also where, at this point, we plan to, Amanda Pruitt and I plan to present the resolution regarding the ETJ sphere of influence transition zones, that you want to call it, between us and the other municipalities that we have. And that will be when we're planning to do that. And that will be, again, March the 11th. I don't have a start time. I imagine it's probably going to be 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, but I'm just guessing. So, and that's all I've got.
Sorry, I was muted. Thanks, Jeff. Smith, do you have any reports?
No, I just want to echo the council's comments on Ms. Sanders and just pass on my condolences to her family. It's quite a loss. That's
okay. Thank you. Okay, Karen, do we have any public comments that have been submitted?
I received no public comments.
Okay. Moving on to public safety, Deputy Crop.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
How are you?
Good, good. Good evening. My name is Deputy Crop with the Union County Sheriff's Office. I'm assigned to the town of Weddington. We're beginning to see a rise in vehicle break-ins in and around the town of Weddington. We're just asking residents to report any suspicious activity and make sure that their outdoor lighting and cameras are working if they have them on their property. In the past 60 days, we've had 2 new communities that have installed residential security cameras at their entrances to their subdivisions. If any HOA is interested in considering this option, they can feel free to reach out to me via email, and I can put them in contact with the other homeowners associations that are utilizing this technology to evaluate the needs for their particular neighborhood. Also, if there's any neighborhoods that are interested in utilizing the town of Weddington radar trailer, they just asked to fill out the request form on the town hall website so that we can get it scheduled to get out to their location. Please continue to watch the speed of vehicles when traveling through the town of Weddington, especially during times of inclement weather with the freezing that we've been having past few mornings and whatnot. But that's all I have at this point.
Very good. Thank you, Deputy. Okay, moving on to our consent agenda. Lisa, if you could just go over the consent agenda for clarity, please.
Thank you. Item 8A is per statute 105-369, the tax collector shall report the amount of unpaid taxes for the current fiscal year, which for us is $69,642.35. And this agenda item orders the tax collector to advertise the tax liens. Item 8B is the 2022 urban archery season renewal for January 15th through February 20th. We usually do this a year in advance. Item 8C is a Highclere bond release for the amount of $179,148. And item 8D is a cash surety from the Bromley subdivision. It was before Toll Brothers, it's Pace Development Group. These are road maintenance bonds, which we are no longer allowed to hold. The amount is $32,850. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, council have any questions?
No.
Hearing none, I will look for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
All in favor, Probst,
Yes.
Pruitt,
Yes.
Harriman,
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to the minutes, the approval of the January 11th, 2021 regular town council minutes. Are there any changes? If not, I will look for a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
Okay, I think that was Perryman and Pruitt at the same time. All in favor? Probst,
Aye.
Pruitt,
Aye.
Perryman,
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
All right, plugging along here. No old business, new business. 11A, discussion and consideration of planning board appointments. So we have 3 openings on the planning board. One of those openings is the remaining 1-year term from a member that resigned because she moved. Walt Hogan is a current planning board member whose term is up this year. Although he did not apply for another 4-year term, he did express an interest in fulfilling that remaining year. Walt has been a tremendous asset to the planning board, and we thank him for his willingness to continue another year. So without council objection, I would like to appoint Walt Hogan to the remaining 1-year planning board vacancy. Okay, hearing no objection, I will move on to the other openings. We conducted interviews 2 weeks, a couple weeks back, 2 weeks ago, I guess, with the applicants. I first just want to take a second and thank all of the applicants for their time and their interest in being active in the town. We had seven very qualified professionals, really great folks that we sat down and talked with, but only have 2 spots, obviously, to fill. So I will open the floor and go through each council person for discussion and nominations. So I will start with Probst. If you have any comments, discussion, or nominations.
I want to thank everybody that applied to. The interviews went great. I appreciated all the time that people put into coming and talking to us. And again, I will also echo the mayor's comments. Everybody was just, it was a tough decision on my part because we had such great applicants. But I would like to put forward Manish Mittal. And if I'm saying his name wrong, he can clarify that for me. But I would like to put Manish as a person to be considered for the new 4-year terms.
Okay, very good. Pruitt, do you have comments or?
Yes, I also wanted to echo the statement that, thank you for everybody that did apply. It's exciting to see the willingness of the turnout and the folks that want to help serve the town. It was a tough decision. Everybody was very well qualified. At this time, I would like to nominate Travis Manning for one of the 4-year positions.
Okay, very good. Mr. Perryman.
Well, I know it's been said, but I'll just back onto it again. We were very, very fortunate to have so many highly qualified people, and I do thank them all. And it has been stated, the difficulty is when you've got that many qualified people and only 2 spots, it makes it very difficult. But we are very fortunate here that we are faced with that type of issue. I agree with the last 2 nominations, and so I really don't have any other nominations to make.
Okay, very good. Smith, do you have
comments?
Yeah,
it was a pretty tough choice. I did review them, and they were all very highly qualified as far as I could see. And I do want to thank everybody for applying. I just want to throw Brad Perlman's name in there. He's been on the planning board for probably 6 years now, and I'd like to put his name in there.
Okay, very good. So we will go through and we will do a roll call vote for each nominee. So I will start with Manish Mittal, not very sure. Again, he can correct us if he is appointed. So Probst.
Yes.
We're voting for Manish. Probst is a yes. Pruitt?
Yes.
Perryman?
Yes.
And Smith?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Our second nominee is Travis Manning.
Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
We're going to
Yes,
need somebody can we have somebody introduce that as a motion to appoint?
Oh.
Okay. Yes.
Thanks.
So thank you.
You want me to say it since I
Yeah, so I will look for a motion to appoint Manish Mittal.
Or Mittal. So moved.
All in favor? All in favor? Probst?
Yes.
Pruitt?
Yes.
Perryman?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Okay. Second, we have Travis Manning. So I will look for a motion to appoint Travis Manning.
So move.
Looking for a motion. All right. Probst?
Yes.
Pruitt?
Yes.
Perryman?
Yes.
Smith?
No.
Okay. So we will go through here and look for a motion to appoint, Brad Prilliman. Probst.
No.
Mayor,
Pruitt.
we need a council person to make the motion.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Motion to approve Brad Prilliman.
So moved.
All in favor? Probst.
No.
Pruitt.
No.
Harriman.
No.
Smith.
Yes.
Okay. So based on those, it looks like we have our two new planning board appointment members, Manish Mittal and Travis Manning. Did we get through that, Karen? Okay.
Yes, yeah,
I think so.
that's great.
Thank you. Sorry.
Both Karens.
Well, yeah, both Karens. Thank you. Okay. All right. Very good. Moving on to our employee handbook revisions. Lisa, I'll let you give your report.
I don't have a report. We did talk about the handbook. We made some changes 2 months ago, and we'd asked the attorneys to take a look and clean it up and go through and see if there's any changes. So I'd like to introduce Jennifer Nancaro.
That's right.
She'll go over the changes for us tonight.
Okay, I am going to work on sharing my screen with y'all so that you can see exactly what changes I'm recommending. First of all, thank you for letting me be here. Well, I guess I'm here in my own house, but be here with you virtually. I wish I could meet you in person. Right now I need to move your faces. Can you see? I think you can just, I'm not sure if you can see your faces or not. If you can, I've just moved you to the left. So the way I want to go about doing this is to give you an idea of some changes I made throughout, and then to quickly go through specific substantive changes that I made. And I can only see about 3 of you at one time. So if you want to ask a question, please just chime in, because I won't see your hand or anything like that. So the first change that I made that you're going to see throughout is I tried to make the language gender neutral. So instead of speaking in terms of her or him, I just said the employee. So that's something you'll see throughout. Starting with the first page, right now you have in the very front of your handbook, you have this employee acknowledgement. And that's great that you have an employee acknowledgement, but I prefer to put it in the back of the handbook. And that's just because it's stating as an employee that you've read everything that's contained in the handbook. So it always seems odd to me to have it first, because of course you haven't read everything yet. So I haven't moved it yet, but my recommendation would be to move it to the back. You'll see that I crossed out this language right here. I hope you can see my cursor, where it says that the policy pertaining to anti-harassment is explained to each employee. That's really not what you all are doing right now. And you don't have to explain it. I mean, it's in this handbook, so your employees have read it. So that was the reason I deleted that. Comment right, let's see, I went up a little too far. Right here, I'm leaving at will in. We are an at will state, but I was just put a little note in to remind people, if you didn't know, that you really shouldn't be just immediately terminating people, even if it is an at will state, because the 14th Amendment gives people due process, and that applies to public employees and their jobs. And so without giving you a whole lecture on what you need to do to terminate someone, it was just sort of a reminder that there has to be notice and opportunity to be heard. So if I'm an employee, prior to terminating me, you have to give me notice of your intended action, and you have to give me some opportunity to be heard. So really, if if Lisa were in a position, or if you all were in a position where you wanted to terminate someone, my hope would be that she would contact Karen or someone before you actually, before the person in charge of the firing actually took that action. So there's no change there, but it was just something I wanted to point out. The next page, the table of contents. These numbers on the right are going to change a little bit because when we accept or reject my recommendations, some of the pages will change. So I have not made all those yet, but of course that will come at a later date. I have changed some of the actual contents to reflect what I've changed topics to, and this may take a little bit more work if we, by we I mean you all, if you all decide to not go with some recommendations or do go with some, but it's a placeholder for now. So that's kind of the easy stuff. I don't see or hear any questions yet, so I'm just trying to scroll through. So some changes I made were stylistic and some were legal recommendations. This first paragraph was mainly stylistic, but the legal portion of it was, I think it can be a lot shorter, and we're restating at the end of the paragraph that the employees are expected to read this handbook and be familiar with its contents. And if they have any questions or concerns, they would contact the town administrator with those concerns. So that was an easy one. One of the big changes I made, and I want to point this out to you, is instead of having this general policies A, it used to say open door policy. And these first two paragraphs that I've marked out used to be what you had in there. And I'm not sure if you have that in front of you other than my screen. So I wanted to make sure you saw it here. What I did was I'm turning this into a complaints section. The open door policy is sort of the old termination. Now we are moving towards every organization, public or private, having a method for employees to air their complaints. So a method for employees to air their complaints, but then also a process for employers to follow when they receive complaints. So that's what I did there. And we added in that the employee complaint forms are located on the town's server so that an employee knows where to go to get a complaint if they have one. On the next page, the first paragraph, stylistic and the non-gender or gender neutral language, so nothing huge there. In the equal employment opportunity section, that overall looked good, but I made some changes in that last paragraph to reflect the new complaint section that you saw a page ago. In the anti-harassment section, also, those are pretty much stylistic changes there. There was no huge legal change. Of note, while stylistic, I want to point out that the last paragraph of that section, so right above the immigration law compliance section, I took away this language that says it's the responsibility of every employee to report every incident of harassment, and changed it to employees are encouraged. And what I was trying to get away from is putting the onus on the employee to create a good working environment for everyone. Yes, of course, people should be encouraged, but really it's the employer's duty to create an environment free from harassment. So that's what that piece was all about. The immigration law compliance, I just made one minor change. You know, an employee needs to fill out a I-9 form, but they may also be required to participate in an E-Verify program. So I was just trying to sort of clean up that language, clarify a little bit more what the expectation might be. Top of page 4, it looks stylistic, but it's a little bit legal as well. So it used to say employees with questions or seeking more information on immigration law issues are encouraged to contact the town administrator. So I changed that because we don't want employees going to Lisa or whoever holds Lisa's job asking for legal advice or seeking legal advice. So that was just, hey, if you have questions, you can go to the town administrator and she can probably help you. Now, I did take out the section, or my recommendation is to take out the section F, employee activities. And it's not because anything in here is wrong. So if you all decide, no, Jennifer, we want that in, that's okay from a legal perspective, but I just don't think it really applies to your town. You know, you don't have labor unions. There's a very small number of employees, and I think it clutters up the employee handbook, and I don't think you need it. So that was my rationale behind taking that out. The new section F, it used to be employment status and classifications. I changed that title just so everyone would know right away that really what we're talking about in the big picture is that we're an at-will employer. And then under that, we've got the employee classifications. So you'll see that I have a new G for employment classifications. Minor changes or edits in the paragraph right below. My understanding is that it would really be the town administrator who's determining whether a job is exempt or non-exempt. I don't think you as a council do that. And then we added in that information would be included on the job description, and that's generally how that is done. So that was my recommended change there. Top of page 5 under non-exempt employees, you see I've added one sentence. Timesheets are turned into and approved by the town administrator. We're just trying to make the handbook match the current practice. For compensation, payroll practices, work hours and overtime pay, whoops, sorry, I went a little too quick there. Employees still get their 2 15-minute paid breaks per day, but the recommendation is, you know, they can do them whenever they want. There's nothing, the FLSA doesn't say it has to be 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. So I'm not sure why we would care when they take them, but that's what they get. This was my own personal leave for under vacation, sick leave. I changed funeral to bereavement leave. I think that's even more pertinent in COVID times when people can't always actually go to funerals, but I can't imagine that y'all wouldn't give a day off, you know, or time off if somebody had a close family member die, but they couldn't make the funeral. So that's why I turned that into bereavement leave. Timekeeping procedures. That was just me. That was stylistic. You really, the first 2 sentences you basically already had in there, but I was sort of flipping where it was so that I thought it would flow better. Now I have a note for you all in the margin right here so your handbook said that if an employee feels there's an error in their pay, that they must report the discrepancy within 5 business days. I changed that to should report within 5 business days, and then wanted you all to know that you can absolutely put that language in the handbook. That said, you can't really hold people to it. You know, the FLSA has a 2-year statute of limitations. So if an employee comes back a year after there's an error in pay, you're still going to need to pay them for the error. If the error was negative, meaning they got less money than they were supposed to. So I think you can keep the 5 business days, but it just made me want to point out that, okay, but just know that they have 2 years. So this was, I took out the last paragraph because it's restated in the beginning. Now, change of personal data. This to me did feel like a legal change. Anytime I'm viewing policies or handbooks, my goal is to limit liability. And one of the biggest areas of liability for public employers is people bringing discrimination claims. And I just didn't like, particularly the very last sentence. I felt like it was non-intentional, but I think it is opening the town up to a complaint of discrimination due to marital status or sex because of how much information we're trying to give. I mean, you'll see in the first paragraph, it used to say employees who changed their personal data, including but not limited to address, phone number, marital status, dependents. And the marital status and dependents is what I was having the issue with. I don't think that a employee is required to tell you that. So I took that out, or I'm recommending that you take that out. The language on the job performance evaluations, this was to try to match what is currently happening. So there's an addition of language at the bottom. We're trying to get at the idea that changes in compensation, whether it's an increase or a decrease, they're made at many different junctures, right? So they can be made if there's a promotion, a demotion, or if the person just has additional duties that are added or removed from their job description. And that increase or decrease in pay does not always coincide with a formal written evaluation. So that was the change there. Absences and tardies. Well, this was definitely stylistic. So if you get to know me more, you'll realize that I'm very straight to the point. And so I thought, why don't we start off saying, you know what, if you're an employee, you are expected to attend work in accordance with your set schedule. That's what you are supposed to do. If your schedule says you're 8 to 5, you better show up from 8 to 5, kind of a thing. May put the language in about if you expect to be absent from work, you should be giving your direct supervisor prior notice when possible. Going to the next page. Again, this was sort of rewording. You basically had these next things, but I was trying to sort of clean it up again. So I don't think it's anything really new there. Same with rules of conduct. I thought those were all looked good and are things you all should expect. Page 8D, instead of calling it a corrective action procedure, I changed to disciplinary action. Wanted to point out, because I'm asked sometimes, this sentence at the bottom cited the statute for you on the side. So in North Carolina, and actually many states the state I just came from, it's the same, that employees are actually by law allowed to attach their own sort of explanation of a disciplinary action, and that has to be kept in a personnel file. So it doesn't change a disciplinary action. Let's say that your town administrator gave someone a 1-day unpaid suspension because of X, Y, and Z. Well, if I'm the employee and I don't think, well, that's really not why it happened. Nothing happened, and Lisa's just being mean to me. I'm allowed to write my own comments to the disciplinary action she's taken, and you have to put that in my file. It doesn't change the fact that I can be disciplined, but there it is. So that was added in. Dress policy, we cleaned it up by making it just a lot shorter. You want people to be in professional business attire and or workday appropriate. I know that has really changed a lot right now, right? If I were in a meeting with you all, I'd probably be in a suit. That's usually how I do it. I'm at home, so I'm in a sweater, right? Everyone has kind of changed a bit there. So we've shortened that up. Personnel records, I took directly from your statute, because what you all had, and those bullet points will come out, will replace with numbers. I just couldn't seem to get them out without accepting all of this. You all had most of the statutory language, but you didn't have all 12 factors. And so that, I don't know why that was, but I thought, well, you're pretty much citing from statute, so let's cite the whole statute and not just part of it. So that was that change. Town property, this sentence right here was added, and this isn't a legal issue. This is just what is happening in the town, or what we're suggesting happen in the town. That's there. No change to gifts in favor. No big changes here. I hope you all can see me scrolling. Okay, employee benefits, starting with the vacations. Again, trying to sort of clean up what you have and to be, we're trying to make it as concise as possible. Going down to, let's see. Oh, I'm recommending taking number 7 out because you already have this under your section about sick time. It's basically saying, look, I can't just take off of work without vacation time, and then after the fact say, oh, well, can't you just use 2 days of my sick time to replace those 2 days I left? No, sick time is sick time, vacation time is vacation time, and that was just redundant. You already have it in your sick time, so I took that out. Again, trying to clarify what happens if you end your job but you have unused vacation pay. No substantive changes. I'm suggesting that you post your holiday schedule on your website. An easy way for employees to know which days you give off. Going down to leaves of absence. I did add a leave of absence for you, and that was a legal change. So I'll get there. No substantive change to jury duty or compliance with a subpoena. The substantive change is right here on Roman numeral 7. So under chapter 50B, which is the chapter that contains our domestic violence statutes, there is an actual 50B 5.5 called employment discrimination unlawful. That's the little heading. And it basically says, employers, you have to give employees reasonable time off of work to obtain or attempt to obtain a domestic violence protective order. Now, it's not paid. You don't have to pay your employees. You can allow them to take their time, paid time off, to go seek this order. And unless it's an emergency, employees are expected to give their supervisors 48 hours advance notice. And that's all in the statute. But, you know, for all practical purposes, most of these orders, they're emergency orders. So I think more often than not, you would have someone just go and probably tell you after the fact, because they're not always going to know 48 hours in advance. But I did add that in there. This it's not a new law. It just wasn't in your books, in your employee handbook. So I went ahead and put it in there for you. Now, the proposed new benefits come under health insurance and retirement. And my understanding is that I'm sort of telling you what we're proposing, and that you all are going to, that's not being decided tonight, and that you all are going to take other time to figure out what you want to do there. But we were adding in that employees that work at least 30 hours a week may be eligible for group health insurance. And then we added in some language about new employees when you are eligible for benefits after you've started working. The retirement section, similarly here, we proposed adding in employees who work at least 20 hours. Well, sorry, the first part is the law. If you work at least 20 hours a week, you are eligible to participate in the local governmental employee retirement system. The piece we were proposing is, in addition, if you work 30 hours a week, that you would be eligible to participate in the supplemental 401k plan. So that's the proposal. Then I went to drugs and alcohol. Oh, I should have mentioned, on a lot of these headings, I just took off the word policy. That's my own stylistic thing. If you all want it to read policy, I'll leave the policy back in. Drug-free workplace. So the first part was me reordering. So you see on the right, I said I moved that paragraph. I didn't just totally delete it. I moved it a bit down, but I sort of interspersed it down below. What I added, the biggest addition was under this B, drug and alcohol testing. So I added language to help the employees understand what reasonable suspicion is. So this gets to due process rights under the Constitution, due process, but also your Fourth Amendment rights to be free from an unlawful search. So you can drug and alcohol test if there's reasonable suspicion that an employee is using unlawful controlled substance. And this 1 through 5 is sort of trying to give you a roadmap. Okay, are you observing abnormal behavior or impaired? Is the person impaired in mental or physical performance? For example, slurred speech, difficulty walking, and so forth. I won't read you 2, 3, 4, 5, but that was my idea, that it makes the document more usable if this ever happens, which I hope for you it won't. I removed the sentence right before the smoking and tobacco section that says all employees shall be subject to unannounced random drug and alcohol testing. And my reason for removing it is I don't think you all are doing that. So you can do it, but I don't like it in there unless it is something you are actually doing. So that was my recommendation about taking that back. Oh, one other change that you will not see that came up before the meeting today, haven't seen this either, is the smoking and use of tobacco products. Karen suggested, and I agree, that we add in including vaping and e-pens are prohibited in any town building. But then town vehicle or town property, then I would recommend removing pursuant to the town ordinance. So first of all, the ordinance was cited incorrectly. So first I put the correct ordinance, but your ordinance will need to be updated at some point. It doesn't include the vaping, so I don't want to reference it. So that's what this piece was about. Weapon-free workplace, added in, and this was a Lisa catch, so good catch, Lisa, that under chapter 14, we can't just say employees do have a right, if they have a concealed carry permit, to be able to store their firearm within their motor vehicle while it's on town grounds. So we added that in there. Took out only the town mayor or town council can grant permission for an employee to have a weapon on town property, and such permission but must be in writing. My recommendation to take that out was, I was sort of like, well, why do we have that in there? And what I mean by that is, I like to have black and white rules when I can, because I can't think of a time where you would say, oh, okay, yeah, you can bring a weapon, but you can't. I mean, we're not including law enforcement, meaning law enforcement can always have their weapons, of course, and we don't have the right to control that, but that was the thought behind taking that out. You all are so quiet. I don't know if you have, I guess you don't have questions. I'm just gonna roll through here. Oh, the credit cards we updated with the policy you have. So first I took the policy you had and just made a few little edits to it, because I wanted to reflect what the current process is. So I believe that we are now, that now your handbook would reflect the current process. Telephones, I think I took one paragraph out, not on telephones, social media networking. Oh, I know what I took out. I took out the bottom of page 25, B, conflict resolution. I took it out for two reasons, or I recommended you take it out. One, because I think it's really already covered in your second bullet point on this page, where it talks about don't post inappropriate comments. But I also took it out because depending on what the conflict is, I don't think I agree that employees are always more likely to resolve complaints by speaking directly with their coworkers. Now with their supervisors, yes, maybe, but it made me feel uncomfortable, and I took the language out. I don't think you need it. I think it's basically said in bullet point 2. And moving on, I think that was my last suggested revision. So there you are. And I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
Very good. Thank you for that. I don't have any questions right now. And we will have another month to kind of go through some of these and can kind of take the things that you've said and process them a little bit. Does council have any questions?
No.
Sounds quiet. Okay. So, this will give us an opportunity to kind of take what was changed and what you've said and go through it. And, we can obviously have a discussion next month before we make a vote on it. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
All righty. Thank you very much for that. Discussion of the resolution. Jeff, do you want to take this?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Basically, this is just, and I know we've been doing a lot of these lately, and I hope that's helping raise the red flag for everybody that, this stuff is coming and we need to try to get out in front of it. But this project, this Aviton project, the company that's doing it is basically based in Raleigh. And from the PIM meeting that they had, the company builds what they advertise, what they profess to be high-end apartments. And the gentleman that was doing the presentation was citing the fact that various studies and various things about the new the new norm for people in their work is they want to be able to go someplace, have this good job, but have the option of mobility. If they are working in Charlotte right now, but they get a job in Denver. They want to be able to pull up roots here and boom, move out of state, or wherever they need to go. And that these apartments are designed to fill that niche. That he repeatedly went over the fact that these are not just standard everyday, I guess what you'd call average apartments. These are high-end affairs. However, if you look at the proposal and the numbers speak for themselves, they are proposing to put 310 multifamily apartments on 19 acres of land, which yields a density of over 16 units per acre. That does not fit anything in our town ordinances. It certainly does not fit anything in Marvin's town ordinances. When we had our WUMA meeting, the Alliance meeting in January, the folks from Marvin said that they are doing everything they can to let the county know that they are not in favor of it for the same reasons that were brought up at the PIM meeting. The traffic density, what it's going to do to the schools, you name it. We've covered all that ground before in previous discussions about why this high density is not something that we want. And so at the Alliance meeting, I showed this draft of our resolution. I know Marvin is working on theirs. And at our next meeting in February, what I did was I asked everybody to, the other members, that if their town councils wanted to view one or the other and approve it and bring it, then we could, again, as a group, as the Alliance group for our part of the county, present it, also one from us to the county, from the Alliance to the county as well. So I'm simply asking if council is receptive, that we as a council pass this resolution, and then I can have, not only can Lisa send it from us, but then I can add that to the others that should be, I expect to be coming from the Western Union Alliance at the February meeting. So, and there it is.
Very good. Thanks for all that, Jeff. Any questions from council? Pretty straightforward. Okay, I will look for a motion to approve the resolution 2021-04, opposing the proposed high-density residential rezoning at the southwest corner of Newtown Road and Providence Road for Avington Apartment Complex.
So moved.
All in favor, Probst?
Aye.
Pruitt?
Aye.
Perryman?
Aye.
Smith?
Aye.
All right, update from the planner. Lisa? You're on mute.
Muted.
Your mouth is moving and nothing's coming out.
Awesome. All right, Belmar received its sketch plan approval last week. This is the 10-lot subdivision off of Old Mill Road. The January planning board meeting was canceled. Our next meeting is February 22nd. They'll hopefully give a final recommendation on the UDO. I've been working with Kevin nonstop to get the final draft out to them this week for review. So if all goes well, we'll hold our public hearing in March and then vote in April. The retreat is scheduled for February 26th at Rolling Hills. We are at limited capacity of 10. Let us know if you have any topics. We're going to try to get packets started this week. The county planners briefed us on a few changes for the 2050 comp plan. They opened the public hearing, the public comment period back up, and received twice as many comments in that short amount of time than they did throughout the whole original comment period. They added more transition zones to their land use map and redefined those zones to include small, unincorporated areas that have the majority of their perimeter adjacent to a municipality. So that's good news. They also
Lisa, did they say specify the townships that those comments came from?
The majority was Sandy Ridge Township.
Were they? Okay.
Marvin, Weddington.
Right. Good. Just curious.
Yep. We also heard a lot of concerns about traffic. One good recommendation is to deny any rezoning requests for projects that worsen peak hour congestion for any of those DOT STIP projects. So the rezoning will either have to contribute funds to accelerate the schedule or wait for that project, that transportation project, to be completed, which, you know, some of those are 10 to 12 years out. So
Where did that recommendation come from?
that's from the subcommittees that are reviewing comments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's in the draft 2050 plan. And
Okay.
then last thing is the county has stopped new development sewer permits in the 12 Mile Creek Basin. They voted on that in January. Apparently the basin is at capacity, or 95% capacity, and they're not able to pinpoint how much of it is flow versus rainwater. So they are waiting to see if that number goes down, or if they can get that percentage down before they release any more permits. That's all I have.
Very good.
Do you know how many pending permits are out there right now that they haven't started construction on?
I don't. I know they do. I've heard a number. I just don't have that in front of me.
Okay.
Okay. Good stuff. Code enforcement, it's in the packet. I'm guessing we don't have any questions. Not much has changed. Okay, a lot of monitoring. Is Leslie on? I don't
She is not.
Oh, thanks, Karen. She had a funeral this evening.
Okay. Well, financing and all of our financials are in the packet. If there are any questions, shoot Karen, not Karen, Leslie an email or a text. Transportation, don't really have any update from the CRTPO meeting. Just kind of another note, again, that, you know, our roads are owned and maintained by DOT. We have been getting a lot of complaints. The trash is really bad on the roads. We are aware of the trash. We have asked one of our contract guys to try to get out and start his scheduled pickup on the roads. And we're going to work the end of February to get a cleanup, and maybe again in early spring to get a litter sweep. So just ask residents to be aware if there are people walking on the roads picking up trash. Just be careful, and if you're driving in a truck, for Pete's sake, don't have McDonald's bags in the back so they blow out. Keep all your stuff tied down. Anyway, that's it. Lisa, do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay. All right, council comments. Probst.
Not really. I think we've covered everything tonight. Thanks for anybody that tuned in, and it was a nice meeting. And looking forward to working with the two new planning board members. And thank you, Walt, for participating again for another year. And again, those that didn't make it, please apply again. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Pruitt.
I will just, the same sentiments that Janice just did. Congratulations to Manish and to Travis. Welcome to the planning board. And thanks again to Walt. And thanks for everybody turning in.
All right, Perryman.
Again, I'll just echo the same things that Ann and Janice said up to this point. I will add sort of my comments about Sharon Sanders. She was not only a friend, but she meant more to our town and this community than most people really realized. I know when I read some of the things that she had been involved in, even before, you know, I got to know her, I was amazed at what an impact this one person had on literally thousands of families in our area. We are all at a loss for her not being here, and it's just my deepest condolences to her family, and she will be sorely missed.
Very good. Smith.
I also just want to welcome the new planning board members. And again, echoing what everybody else said, is thanking Walt for his continuing service. And thank you for everyone for tuning in.
Very good. Okay, it's always the same stuff. I go last and it's the same thing. Welcome to the new planning board, to Manish and Travis. Walt, thank you for your willingness to continue for another year, and thank you to those that tuned in. With all of that, I will look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? Probst?
Aye.
Pruitt?
Aye.
Perryman?
Aye.
Smith?
Aye.
All right. That's it. Good night.
Good night.
Good night,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Night.
Good night.